Welcome back to our part 6 of our Introduction to Unity for Beginners series. In this part, we'll delve in some essential aspects of game development, focusing on implementing key elements like game menus, scene management, background images, buttons, and text. By mastering these techniques, you'll gain a deeper understanding of how to structure and enhance your games within the Unity engine. By the end of this tutorial, you will have learned how to create a functional game menu, how to manage scenes efficiently, how to incorporate background images into your game, how to implement interactive buttons, and how to display text within your game. Before we dive into Unity, let's first discuss the components that will be implemented. In Unity, a user interface refers to the graphical elements and controls that allows users to interact with the game or application. Unity provides a powerful UI system that allows developers to create and customize various UI elements such as buttons, text fields, sliders, images, and panels. For the sake of this tutorial, we will be only discussing the three components of the user interface. First is the text component, which allows you to display the text on the screen. You can customize the properties such as font, size, color, alignment, and styling. Next is image component, which allows you to display sprites or textures as UI elements. It's commonly used for icons, backgrounds, and other graphical elements. And last is the button component, which allows you to create interactive buttons that triggers actions when clicked by the user. And now let's begin. Let's first implement the game menu. To do that, let's first create a scene and name it main menu. And before we add anything, let's first import the background image for the main menu. So let's go to assets, import new asset, and let's drag it here outside. Now to add the background image, go to the hierarchy window, and then right click UI, and then image. Now when we zoom out, you can see this whole outline. This is the canvas size, and then this is the image size. And then when we zoom in, this is the game size. But let's not worry about that. Let's focus on canvas size. We want the image size to be the same as the canvas size. Because when we view at the game scene, you can see that the image is very, very small compared to the full canvas size. So let's resize that. Choose the rect tool, then scale. And now when we check the game scene again, you can see that the image size has covered the whole canvas size. Then when we want to add the background image, check the image game object, and here the image, we want to drag it here in the source image, just like that. And when we check the game scene again, the background image, it's being fully applied. Now that the background image has been applied for the game menu, let's next add the text for the title. Let's go back to the scene view. Then let's select the canvas game object and then right click, go to UI, and then select text mesh pro. Now, after adding the text game object, Unity will be asking you to import TMP Essential. And now let's import the TMP Essentials. And let's close this one. Now let's rename the text game object to title. Now, when we click the title game object, some components will be using are the rect transform, text input, and the vertex color. So the rect transform is just a uh, set setting the position of the text by snapping. So when we want to change the position of the text, just click the icon and then hold Alt, and then you can choose which direction you want to set the position. Let's try to set it in the top middle. Then let's use the move tool, then make it a little bit center. Now, in here in the text input, you can also edit the text. So let's name it to the game. You can also change the text style from normal to header 1, header 2, then header 3. But let's just use the normal text style. You can also change the font styles from bold, italic, underline, strike through, lowercase, uppercase, and then small caps. You can also change the font size. I'm going to make it 100. And to fix this problem, you want the text to be properly aligned. So to do that, let's edit the text box here, the yellow line and the 4 points. Let's make it like this, and then like that. Little bit of adjustments so that it will look appropriate. And then you can also change the colors of the text with the vertex color. You can also use the alignment and also the outline. As you can see that the outline is not applying. So what we want to do is go to material preset, then choose the Liberation Sense SDF outline. You can in the outline you can change the thickness and also its color. Next, we will add a button functionality into our game object. So to do that, let's go again to the game object, canvas game object, right click and then UI, and select button text mesh pro. Let's rename it play. Now we want to change its size, so we want to scale it. Now by pressing R in your keyboard, we can directly use the scale tool. Then W for the move tool, and by default, the text button is named as button. So if you want to rename it to play, go to the button game object, And then the drop down arrow, select the text game object, go to the text mesh pro component, and then rename it as play. Now that we have the play button, let's now add the quit button. To do that, let's just duplicate it, Control D, rename it again. Let's just drag this below the play button and go to the drop down arrow, text, then quit. Now that we have an appropriate game menu into our Unity project, we will now be implementing scene management into our game. So before we do that, let us first discuss what is a scene management and what is a build in Unity. So what is a scene management? Scene management in Unity refers to the process of loading, unloading, and organizing different scenes within a Unity project. Scenes are individual environments or levels that contain various game objects, assets, and configurations. And in the context of Unity, building refers to the process of compiling and packaging your project into a standalone application that can be run on specific platforms such as PC, mobile devices, and consoles. When you build a Unity project, the engine compiles your scripts, bundles assets, and prepares the project for deployment on the target platform. So the first step in scene management is to set up the scenes in the build settings. And in order to do that, let's go to the file, build settings. Then here in the scenes folder, let's drag the main menu first and then the level 1 scene. So the order of the scenes is determined by the index number. So the index number of 0, meaning the first order of the first order is main menu scene, and the second order is the level 1 scene. Now, now that we have the buttons in the main menu, we want to add its functionality. So, in order to, in order to do that, let's first create a script. Let's name it scene management. Now, in this script, we first added a using Unity Engine scene management library in order for the scene management functionality to work. Then we've added two methods. First, the play game, which loads a specific scene asynchronously, typically the game scene index 1, which is the level 1 scene. And then the quit game method, which quits the application when called. To implement the script, let's go to the main command first, and then drag the scene management script, and then select the play button. Here in the button component, specifically on the on-click window, let's add a list. And then let's drag the main camera here, below the runtime only. Then here in no function, let's add a function called play, play game method. Same goes for the quit button. Now when we try to run the script, let's click the play button. Here you can see that it will direct to the level 1 scene. But let's try the quit button, see if it works. So here you can see that the quit button, uh, it may seem that it's not working, but the project we are running right now is in Unity, not the application. So if you want to run it into the application, let's go to the file, build settings, and then build, create a new folder called build, and then select that folder. Now when we run the application itself, see that the play button works, and try to run it again. And when I click the quit button, the application itself will exit. Now that we have our game menu, let's now create a level 2 for our project. So let's first go to the level 1 scene, find the player. Then let's create a game object, specifically 2D object, sprites, and then square. Then let's resize it. Then let's also change its color. Just make it red. Then let's add a box collider 2D and toggle the is trigger function because we will need that later. After we've done that, let's create a new scene. Let's name it level 2. And let's just copy and paste the game objects. And we go to the level 2, paste it. Now let's just create a very simple scene here. Now if you want to add a background image for each level in your game, let's create a em empty game object first, and then rename it to background image. And here in the background image game object, let's add a component called sprite renderer. Now to add the image, and just also drag the image here in the sprite section. Then let's just adjust it. Now we want the background image to be in the background, of course. So in order to do that, uh, go to the sorting layer, add sorting layer, and then add, name it background. Then just make the background layer, make it into layer 0. Now when we select the background layer, the image itself will not be overlapping the other game objects. Now let's create a script for switching scenes from level 1 to level 2. But first, let's set up the scene for level 2 first. So let's go to the build settings. Then let's just drag the level 2. And now let's create a script. Let's name it switch scene. So basically what this script does is when a game object with a tag player touches a object's trigger collider, script loads the scene with the index 2. Now let's implement the script. Before we do that, let's go to the player game object first. Then let's go to the tag and then select player tag. And now for the script, let's select the red square and then let's drag the switch scene script. Also make sure that in the box collider 2D component, the isTrigger property is enabled so that the function of the script will work. So let's test it. Then when we go to the red square, it should switch to the level 2 scene. And there we go. Congratulations on completing the part 6 of our Introduction to Unity for Beginners. With these foundational elements, you're well on your way to creating engaging games in Unity. Experiment with designs, utilize advanced UI features, optimize scene management, and integrate UI seamlessly for your immersive experience.